Okay, so let's get started. So welcome everyone. My name is Rafi Schulman and I'm the co-founder of Olim Advisors. It's a pleasure to have you here. It's really so exciting for us to do these webinars and to have people from around the world, from Israel and around the world join us. And so I just wanted to take a moment and thank all of the speakers who have agreed to join us, including my partner, Laura Itzhaki, and each speaker will introduce themselves when it's their turn to speak. Before we get started, just to share with you that we are recording this. So if you have to leave early, if you've come late, don't worry about it. We will send the recording, we'll send an email with the link to the recording within the next few days. So you'll get that and feel free to share it. I'm sure there are a lot of people that weren't able to join today. It's a few days before Pesach, so everyone's busy. So if you want to share with anybody, feel free to do so. Also, if you have any questions, put your questions in the Q&A window and we will get to them at the end of the session. We'll try to get it to as many of them as we can, but we're not going to be able to get to everyone's questions. So I really want to encourage you to reach out to us. Let's schedule a one-on-one call. Let's really understand what your situation is, what your challenges are, what your goals are, and we'd be happy to help you in any way that we can. And we will have our contact information at the end so that you can reach out to us.
Oh, Eileen joined us. Great.
Okay.
Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Laura. Sorry, I couldn't open my link, so I'm open through my ear. I'm my ear
Okay.
today.
That's
Okay.
fine. So let's just, for those of you who aren't familiar with Olim Advisors, I just want to briefly explain to you who we are and why we do these webinars. So if we go back to 2016, where Laura and I started Olim Advisors, we recognized that making Aliyah and buying a home in Israel were very challenging processes. There are a lot of decisions that one has to make, and unfortunately, a lot of people were giving up on their dream. Either they were saying, you know what, maybe I'll wait until my kids graduate or else they're out of the house, or maybe I'll wait until I retire. And what was happening is that a lot of people just came to the decision that they're just not going to move forward. They're not going to make Aliyah, or they're not going to buy a home in Israel. And we wanted to do something about that. So what we did is we launched a service that's very high end, very personalized, that will guide you through the entire process. And what we do is we actually we assign an advisor to you who gets to know you and gets to guide you throughout the process. So if you're making Aliyah, this person will meet you and will get to know you at the very early stages. It might be a year or 2 years before you make Aliyah, and they will explain the process to you. They'll help you come up with a game plan and help you make some of those important decisions like finding a community, finding schools for your kids, deciding what you should ship. And then when you get here, this advisor is going to help you deal with all the bureaucratic challenges, from telling you exactly what you need to bring, making the appointments for you, and then actually going with you so that you don't have to worry about going to the wrong place or not getting all the benefits that you need. They're going to be there advocating for you and really taking a lot of the stress away from this process. And last but not least, your advisor will be there for you for 6 to 12 months to really answer any questions that you have, from the little questions to the big questions. And the reality is that you don't know what you don't know. And so it gives people a lot of peace of mind to know that they have somebody to turn to. The same thing applies to those of you who maybe aren't ready to make Aliyah right now, or maybe you're living in Israel already and you want to buy a home and you don't understand the process of buying a home. So we will have somebody that will guide you through this entire process, from finding the right communities, to finding the right projects, to finding the right apartments, whether they're new or old. And I guess most importantly, is helping you work with the right people. And what I mean by that is helping you work with the right realtors, the right mortgage brokers, the right developers. These are people who want to help you. They're not just out there to get your commission. They want to make sure that you are getting what you want, that you're getting something that meets your needs, meets your budgets, and really realizing your dream of owning a home in Israel. So the bottom line is, if you work with us, we can take away a lot of the stress, a lot of the effort, give you a lot of tips, and really make this process, whether it's the Aliyah process or buying a home process, a lot simpler, a lot less stressful. So don't go at it alone. Reach out to us. Let us help you. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Laura, who's going to be our first speaker tonight.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I know a few days on Pesach is not easy for everyone, but we just wanted to share some great tips with you and hopefully help you with your process. So my first tip is to be positive. It's a great motto for life generally, but definitely when you're making this huge move, you're making Aliyah, you're moving from one place that has such a different culture to Israel, a different language, a different way of going about things. And I think when people are positive, when they look at things, when they really seek out to see the good things, this country is a beautiful country. There's so much to see, there's so much to do. The food here is delicious. The beaches are amazing. And I think when people come with that kind of attitude and they look for that, then it's almost like the positivity comes back to them. And definitely when you're coming as a family and you're the parent, and so you're showing your children, this is the way to go. There's going to be challenges. We know there's going to be challenges. There's going to be difficulties. We know there's going to be. That's what life's about. And definitely when you're making such a big change. But when you're looking for the good, then your kids will learn that from you. They'll learn how to deal with things in a better way. And I've seen it over the last 8 years, and people take this move and they take these changes and they seek out the good. It goes that much smoother. There's no guarantees that there's not going to be difficulties. And no one's saying that, but it definitely is a smoother, easier way about the whole process. So try to be as positive as you can, be a role model for your children if you're coming as a family. Top best tip that I got when I came here also. The next tip that I have is to do your research. Whether you're looking to make Aliyah or you're looking to buy a home here, really take the time to understand Israel. Many people they come here, whether they're students, they come here back and forth in birthright, they come to visit family, friends. It's very, very different when you're looking to make Aliyah. You're coming with your family, or you're coming just you, or you're in as a couple, whatever it may be. Take the time to take a pilot trip and to see the different neighborhoods and to really learn them, to meet with the Olim coordinators, the educational coordinators, to speak to the realtors, to understand what things cost, whether it's to rent or to buy, to understand the different neighborhoods. You can have a city, and in it you can have 5, 6, 7 different neighborhoods. You can have a neighborhood, and within that a difference between different streets, and there'll be a totally different feel or vibe, one as opposed to the other. So to come and to learn and to understand and to speak to people. If you have kids, to go look at the schools, let us make a pilot trip for you, all the details, whether it's, planning out appointments and to make an educated decision based on time spent here to see what's best for your family, what meets your needs best. And then hopefully that will make the process of Aliyah that much better. Same goes for when you're looking to buy a home. To understand the market here, to understand how things work, to understand how to put all the pieces together. So reach out to us. Let us explain to you what it's all about, how to go from one step to the other, how to get money over here, who to speak to, which professionals. So reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you. And my third and last tip is never take no as a final word in this country. I'm not saying it to be obnoxious. I'm not at all suggesting go and fight with someone. But in a way, if you go into a government office, or if you go into the bank, or you go into the market, even the bank, if they tell you something, it's not necessarily the final word. So ask, don't be embarrassed. Go about it in a nice way, in a kind way, like Mayor and Raquel always do, and our clients keep talking about. They do it in such a gracious, kind way with their big smiles, and that's how they get things done. Suddenly the office says, oh, okay, even though they said 5 minutes ago no. Or suddenly the bank says, oh, okay, so your credit card is maxed at 5,000 shekel, and suddenly, oh, it's at 10 or 15 because you ask in a nice way. And again, I'm not suggesting to go and be obnoxious and to fight for everything, but I really do believe that everything in this country, in many, many ways, is negotiable. So don't be shy, be Israeli. A little bit of chutzpah in a nice way goes a very far way. So those are my tips, and we'll be so happy to help you. Reach out to us, whether you're looking to buy or whether you're looking to make Aliyah. This is what we're here for. We have a great team of people that just really want to help you. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Just to add to that, we speak to a lot of people who are just at the very, very early stage of the thinking. They don't have a plan yet. They're not sure what they're going to do and where they're going to move to, but it's just an inkling and it's an idea, and they find that it's really helpful to talk to us. So I just want to clarify that the information that we're sharing isn't just for people who are coming next year or this year or next year. It's even for people that have a longer time horizon. I think you'll find a lot of this information helpful and just things to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about real estate and buying in Israel and a few tips for those of you who are interested in buying. Again, whether you're foreign buyers or living here already, I think you'll find that this is helpful. So the first tip is that prices vary greatly, and so you need to have a budget. We get a lot of people who ask us, well, how much does a house cost in Israel? How much does an apartment cost in Israel? And it's an impossible question to answer. It's no different than saying how much does a house cost in the US or UK or South Africa. It really depends on where and what and when. And so having a budget will help you focus and zero in on what you can afford to buy. And when you put your budget together, and we can help you with this, but when you put your budget together, you have to think about two things. First of all, the total budget, and that will very often depend on whether or not you're getting a mortgage, right? If you're not getting a mortgage and you have $1 million, then that's your budget, and that's what you work with. If you are getting a mortgage, let's say you're a foreign buyer, then that means 50% of the home you have to have a down payment and 50% you have to have a mortgage. So that calculation will help you figure out what the total budget is. And then you can narrow it down, right? Because living in Yerushalayim or Tel Aviv or Netanya is expensive, but there are a lot of affordable communities that are beautiful and wonderful. You know, you can go down to Beersheba and you can go up to Nahariya and you can live in cities like Rehovot and Rishon that are a lot more affordable and within your budget and have a lot to offer. So that's the first thing, is think it through. And if you're going to get a mortgage, we can introduce you to the mortgage broker that we work with, and he can have a consultation call with you and really help you figure that out. So that's the first tip to keep in mind. The second thing is thinking about why you want to buy something. And to many people that seems obvious, but I'll just share with you a few thoughts here. So sometimes you want to buy something because you're making Aliyah, right? So some people are making Aliyah this year, next year, and they want to buy a home. That's going to be the residence. And so that's one intent. Another intent might be for somebody who doesn't want to make Aliyah and is just looking for a vacation home, right? And so that's a very different purpose, a very different intent. Then you have people that are saying, you know what, I want to make Aliyah, but not now, but maybe in 5 years from now. Or maybe I want to buy something for my kids. And that's a very different intent. How does this all play in? How does all this factor? Because, for example, if you want to buy something for investment purposes and you have no plans in moving into it, then there are a lot of opportunities that might not be in a neighborhood that you would move to, right? But there's a lot of upside potential, and so that really opens up the door to a lot of options. On the flip side, if it's an area, if it's a decision or a purchase that you want to move to, want to move into, then you want to focus on areas that you would feel very comfortable living there. And then also, if it's a purchase, a decision that you want to make for down the road. So let's say you want to buy it now and take advantage of certain projects and certain pricing, but you're not going to be moving for another 5 or 6 years, then you might want to buy in a community that is developing. So you buy early on, you get discount, you get better pricing, and then please God, in 5, 6, 7 years, when you're ready to move, the community has really developed nicely and you can take advantage of the best of both worlds. So really think that through, and I'm happy to talk to you about this and help you figure out kind of which category, which bucket you fall into. The next tip is if you don't have to move right away. So we talked about it, right? Either you're not planning on making Aliyah, or maybe it's for your kids, or maybe it's down the road. Then there's a very interesting option called buying on paper. And what that means is that you're buying into a project that isn't built yet, right? And the advantage of doing that, there are a few advantages actually. The first one is that you lock in the price. So let's say a project isn't going to be ready for 3 years from now. Then when you go ahead and you buy in the price of when you're signing the contract. So let's say now or in 30 or 60 days. We know that the project, or in all likelihood, the project is going to appreciate in value over the next 2 to 3 years. You don't have to worry about that. You've already locked in your price, and then you don't have to pay you don't have to pay more as the value increases. The other benefit is that a lot of developers will let you put down a deposit, 20%, 15%. And so from a cash flow point of view, you only need to have that deposit amount available now, and then pay the rest of. Very often it's close to when you move in. So if you're buying something now and won't be ready for 3 years, you just need to have your deposit now, and then you can pay the rest when it's ready to be occupied. Now, that might help, for example, if you want to sell your current home, but you're not ready to do that right now. So maybe you want to sell it in a year or two. This opportunity, buying on paper, gives you the opportunity to do that, to buy, lock in your price, not have to sell, and then, pay it off when you are ready. So that's something very important to keep in mind. And the last thing I just want to mention is that everyone's looking for deals. And for the past 2 years, we've been looking for deals as well that we can share with our clients and share with the audience. And we didn't find anything until literally about a month ago, where we met a real estate group that has access to certain projects in prices that are below market value. So typically what happens when you buy in a typical project, you'll get the marketed price, 2 million, 3 million shekel, whatever the price is. Then there's a level below that for those who are lucky that can get in at a pre-sale price. So that's what we talked about. The buying on paper very often is pre-sale. And then there's even a lower price point that usually most people aren't able to get into. It's called the friends and family price point. And that's the level that we are now able to get people into. So there's obviously a lot of details that go into this, and I'm not going to take up your time now, but just to let you know that this is something that is very valuable, where you can literally save hundreds of thousands of shekel. And if you want to hear more about it, then just reach out to us, and I'll be happy to share more details with you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Raquel, who's one of our amazing Aliyah advisors. Up to you, Raquel.
Hi, thank you, Rafi and Lara. I'm Raquel, an advisor here at Olim Advisors. My first tip is that Israel runs on WhatsApp. Unlike outside of Israel, WhatsApp is really used for everything, government offices and communicating with teachers, schools, even your banker. So that's something to be prepared for. My second tip is that apartments and homes are different here. They're built differently, the sizes are different. So it's really important to keep that in mind when thinking about what furniture and items to bring. It can really affect what you end up bringing practically. Also, a reminder that Israel is not a third world country, so you can really find pretty much everything here. My third tip is to try not to get intimidated by serious Israelis, especially in government offices. I spend a lot of time in government offices with my clients, and I definitely can tell that they warm up to you, and a smile definitely goes a long way. And lastly, I would say to hire Olim advisors, let us do a lot of the work for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Raquel. Raquel's just
Yeah.
amazing. People just they want to adopt her. They want to adopt her and Mayor, our clients, because they really go above and beyond. And so thank you so much for those tips and that information.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, now we're going to move over to you.
Thank you so much, Rafi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak a little bit. So my first tip is like in two parts, is to have a budget. If you are making Aliyah, try to build a budget, if possible, of course, for at least 6 months, to have all the answers in terms of a financial point of view, to the first month in Israel. Even with all the planning we do, there's always some sort of surprise. So it's better to try to anticipate that. And thinking about renting or buying a property, since the real estate market in Israel is very fast, once you do all the research, once you will have all our suggestions, speaking with the mortgage experts, lawyers, etc. Once you have all that, you need to be very much ready, or when the opportunity arrives, you need to be ready to compromise. A lot of times we are used to things from the place where we are, and usually it takes a little bit more time where I can see this apartment and then return, etc. Here in Israel, when there is a good property, it's probably going to last a few days and that's it. So that's also important to understand. The second tip I want to share with you, and I know it's difficult, but once you arrive, and it's better if you start training that before arriving, is it's going to be impossible not to compare everything that we are going through to how it was in the US, in South Africa, Mexico, wherever. I used to do things that way. My doctor used to give me his phone number, etc. And that's get us a lot of frustration. We need to understand that we are arriving to a new place, even if we know it, as Lara said, from vacation, other programs, it's a new place, and we need to understand that, because the faster we understand it, it works different, and we will adapt to that. We will have more possibility to be successful in our Aliyah. And a lot of times that could make a difference between a successful or less stressful Aliyah than a not so successful one, because it's a new place. And also, as Lara says, and it made me think about something my mom used to say, that is, in order to be successful in Israel, first you need to love Israel, and Israel will love you back. If you want to do it the opposite way, it's less likely to happen. So try to think about that. And finally, I keep telling everyone that you need to enjoy and find ways to enjoy the process, even between all the stress and what to bring, what not to bring, everything what's happening. I think all of us have a personal story of how we made Aliyah. And also when we arrive here, to find the moment to have a great shawarma, a great coffee, a great walk by the beach, etc. And really remember the reasons why we made Aliyah. So I hope every one of us will find our own freedom from Egypt and arrive to our promised land. And of course, hire Olim advisor will make it a lot more easier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, now we're going to hand it over to Eileen, who made Aliyah from Texas. You're up.
Hi. So I officially made Aliyah January 13th, and I'm actually back in Texas right now. My lift is coming tomorrow, so I'm really excited. I started my process a year ago, and I'm a social worker, and I'm in private practice now. And even though I'm excellent at organizing and case management, I would never do this on my own. And the minute I found Olim advisors and they listed what they could do for me, I was all in. And it was very helpful the first time I met with Laura during the initial interview. She and then Meir, who's my amazing, wonderful advisor, got a feel for me and really helped me figure out how to plan my pilot trip, which got delayed. And a lot of things have come up in the year. It took me about a year, and I would say try to go slowly. I'm a all-in, go quickly person, and it's helped to go slowly because so many details come up. Each step of the way, Meir gave me the most wonderful wisdom, support, and practical advice. And finally getting to Israel, there was a day that we got together soon after my Aliyah where we took care of the banking, getting me a bank account, getting me my Kupat Cholim, getting my eye appointment for my driver's license, and so many things. And I was just so relieved. I talked to other people who are trying to do this on their own as Olim, and I tell them all about Meir and how amazing he is, and Olim advisors and how amazing they are. And they're like, wow, we need Meir. So I would say don't do this alone, even if you're incredibly organized. Everything's so different and things do come up. And Meir has had to advocate for me when there have been some glitches in bureaucracy. And again, move slowly because it's a huge process. I would say for me, originally I was going to buy, and now I'm glad that I'm renting a furnished apartment because I love living in Zichron, and Meir and Lara guided me to that community, that neighborhood. But who knows where I'll ultimately want to be as I make my way through this process. The pilot trip was so important because it was there that one, I just got a feel for different places, but two, I nailed down with an agent that Olim Advisors hooked me with I actually got my lease signed while I was on my pilot trip, so that when I made Aliyah, I had, them take me straight to my new apartment. Um, um, and so yeah, it helped to have it rented, and I used one of the resources, Israel Transfer, that they suggested to have funds there ready to go for my down payment. So I would say there was one other thing I was going to mention. Yeah, I'm just putting my house here on the market. So I went first and made Aliyah, and now I'm based on what I understand, shipping some stuff and then estate sailing the rest. And it's just been an amazing journey with Olim Advisors. I had some emotional things come up with a family member around this move, around Aliyah, and they were really with me to support me on that. And I think that's about, as far as I'm a professional and I wanted to get my licensure before or as soon after Aliyah, so they helped me find someone, a resource to apply for my social work licensure, which is very bureaucratic. And
Oh, sure.
and the attorney took care of getting it so that by the time I got my Tudat Zahut and other documents, I could just provide them, and I had my license within days of making Aliyah. It's amazing.
Great.
So,
Thank you,
Eileen,
Aline.
you're
I just want to clarify.
inspirational. Absolutely inspirational.
yeah, I love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get back home. So
I just want to clarify something that Eileen said. When she said don't make Aliyah alone, she's not saying that you shouldn't make Aliyah if you're a single person. She's
no,
just
I
saying that
am.
you should look for help, whether it's Olim Advisors or other organizations, because there are a lot of people who are coming alone and starting their lives, and it's great new opportunities. So for those of you who are single, I just want to make sure that you didn't
No,
misunderstand
I'm
Eileen.
single. I am alone.
Great. Thank you so much, Aline.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's move on to Ellie. Ellie, you're up.
Hey. Okay, how are you guys?
Hi.
Okay, so just a little background. My wife and I, we made Aliyah with our 4 daughters this past July. 3 of them are teenagers, and we never once planned on making Aliyah. So it's basically all the things that you're not supposed to do, we did. But we did it the right way, and we are seeing tremendous success. The kids are happy, they're thriving here. So the first tip I'm going to give is come with low expectations. It is not going to be easy. There are going to be times when you are at your wit's end, and there's going to be times when you're expecting things to go really hard and they don't. The trick is if you come with low expectations, you're going to pretty much be happy most of the way. So far, I have one complaint about living in this country. I don't like the shopping carts that all 4 wheels pivot. And I just, if that's my barometer for how things are here with expectations, it's doing pretty good. It's not going to be easy. A lot of people think that you're making Aliyah, it's what God wants, it's what you're supposed to be doing, and therefore it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And if you have that in mind, it should be okay. The next tip I'm going to give, one second, is if you're making Aliyah with older kids, throw your ego out the door. You are not doing this for you. You're doing this for your kids. If you put your needs first, you will not see success in it. You have to you are upending your kids' lives, and it is extremely hard on them. And you have to go into it knowing that and put them first, because there are so many horror stories. I mean, I came on my pilot trip last year, which was amazing because of all the advisors, because I knew exactly where we wanted to move to. We wanted to move to Beit Shemesh because we're moving from a small community, and I wanted my kids to live in an area where there would be hundreds of kids their age, and I just felt that would be a good fit. And my pilot trip was basically just looking at schools. I have daughters. I needed to make sure that we would find the right school for them, that they would be able to get in. And during the week that I was here, I think I was set up with 16 appointments for different schools, literally from the entire spectrum, from the most religious to the most secular. and we found one that I think. Do I think it's the best? I'm very happy there. Do I think it's perfect? No. Do I think that other schools would be better? I have no idea. But I know that I'm happy where we chose. And it was 16 different schools that I looked at. And you have to know going into this that it's all about the kids. You're upending their lives and it's a big thing. And you don't want, oh, that's what I was going to say. I would say half of the principals that I met with at those schools said that if I had come to them 10 or 15 years earlier, they would have said, don't do it. Wait till the kids are older. There are areas in the country, Beit Shemesh is definitely one of them, where it is set up for new Olim. Yes, my kids are the only new Olim in the school this year, but there are plenty of other kids who made Aliyah in other years. It is an Israeli speaking, it's a Hebrew speaking school, but a lot of the teachers and a lot of the students speak English, and it's hard. It's very, very hard on them, but they're doing great. Every time I hear one of them speak a word in Hebrew, it just melts my heart. The third thing that I wanted to say was watch your money. Budget, budget, budget. But know that there will be times when something comes up that you wasn't in the plan. And it could just be that you're so exhausted and tired and you need the kids to go out for dinner and it wasn't in the budget to go. Put it on God's tab. It is a serious thing that all my friends and I talk about. Sometimes you got to just tell God, God, I need you to pay for this one. And he does every single time. Every single time. There have been a lot of things that were outside of the budget, and and I just said, God, I need you to take care of this, and he has. Um, so that's another big thing. You could budget as much as you want, and you should, but just know that you are not in control of this. You are doing what is best for your family and for your future family. The last thing I wanted to say, and it's a little, it's not going to affect everyone. It was with us. If you plan on buying a car here, and you plan on, I don't know, if let's say you have the money or you sold your house and you just want to pay for the car outright, before you make Aliyah, open a bunch of American credit cards that have sign-up bonuses, because when I went to go pay for my car, I asked them, how do we do the bank transfer? And they're like, what do you mean? Don't you have a credit card? Apparently you can make car payments with a credit card here, but you can pay for a car with a credit card. And if you've got a bunch of new cards that have sign-up bonuses, you could spread over a bunch of cards. You can get a lot of points for that. So that was something I wish I'd known. I just got regular points. We didn't get any sign-up bonuses. But that was a little trick that I wish I had known beforehand. That's pretty
That's
much
a
it.
great tip.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
It's so great to hear that your girls are doing so great. It's so amazing. Oh, Hashem.
Listen, do they have issues? Absolutely. But they're teenage girls. They would have issues in America also. But I'm not seeing anything that's directly related. And yeah, it's hard, the Hebrew, but if you do it for the right reasons and you make sure your kids are on board with making Aliyah beforehand, that was a big thing. My kids had equal say in it. So that's make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, not because it's something that you want to do.
Amazing.
Okay, Naomi, you're up.
Hi, everyone. I also wanted to say, like, just repeating what a lot of others have said, that Olim advisors and the team, but Raquel in particular, really saved us in many ways. Like, I really came in expecting this to be such a really challenging and difficult experience, and it was really not in the end. Like, we got here and things were just happened. And so many people that I talked to, they definitely did not have that same experience when they tried to do it on their own. They talk about how things took months and months to get set up. And for us, it was, I don't know, I think the second week after we got here, we were off touring the country because it was summer break for the schools. So everybody was like, there was no camps, there was no schools, and everybody was vacationing. And so were we, because we weren't trying to figure out how to get into appointments, which was great for us. So a few tips I guess that I have was, first of all, and it's funny because I'm even texting a friend now who's packing for their Aliyah this summer. Excuse me. Even when you think you've cut down on the amount of stuff to bring, cut down more. Space in Israel is just totally different. Excuse me. And so yeah, just keep cutting it down, especially on outdoor toys for kids. Excuse me, I'm so sorry.
Bless you.
Bless you. לבריאות.
Thanks. There's not as much outdoor space in most communities for apartments and houses. Also, one thing that I did not know at all, and I don't know how my kids survived it, but they did great, was that there's no ulpan in schools until after Chagim in most communities. Somehow the kids they just, I don't know, figure it out. They get through it. It's really quite like one of those miracles of Israel. And then also, if you're bringing a pet, a dog in particular, know that the process for them to come here is probably harder and longer than the process for the people in your family to come here. And it's something you really have to plan well in advance because you like more in advance than the people sometimes. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Naomi. All right, Shimmy. Shimmy's up, and we're going to switch a little bit again to real estate. And Shimmy from New Jersey bought an apartment, I apologize, in Tanya. You're up.
Yeah, good afternoon. First of all, Lara, even a smile in the bank doesn't work. They're nasty to you no matter what because you have no other place to go. Most other places, the smile does work. But and I just want to preface before I say anything that working with Olim advisors and buying the apartment at this time in our lives was the best move. We have no complaints. We thought about buying for years, and as I used to tell Rafi, it's probably one of the worst investments I have made in the sense that on return on money. So if you're looking to make money in that sense, you're not. And as far as the appreciation is only good if you buying something else, or you're not going to buy anything at all and just pocket the money. That being said, so you're buying with the heart. But that being said, when we decide that it's time to make the move, we planned a trip to go to Israel for 3 weeks. We contacted Rafi and Lara through a neighbor of ours, and said, "Why not? Can't hurt." We told them our criteria. We wanted a small Anglo community. We must overlook water, and a terrace that overlooks water. And we're looking for 2 bedrooms. Not asking for much. And we then made a budget with our financial advisors, and the budget also is you must have it, but it's pretty much an arbitrary number. So my only advice is you have to figure out how much you could spend and without really affecting your life. So we spoke to Rafi, and we spoke to him multiple times back and forth, and he set us up when we came to Israel with, I believe it was 7 cities, all on the coast. And in each city, we were met by a real estate broker, and I believe almost all of them an Anglo couple or an Anglo person that would just tell us about the area. And it was incredibly helpful. And after a week and a half, we drove 1,100 miles on this trip up and down the coast. We drove, and we were met by the right people. We spoke to Rafi almost daily. Sure, that was his highlight for the year. And after a while, after a week and a half, we decided that we wanted North Netanya. Also, one of the criteria we wanted to be in an area that had a hospital. I'm 69, my wife is 66. We're in great shape, I believe, but hospital is a biggie. So we settled on North Netanya, and we then spent the next week and a half. We probably looked at over 20 apartments. He set us up with a great broker, Darren Rich. He beyond helpful. He took our calls all the time. He showed us stuff literally minutes before Shabbos when we can get in. He couldn't have been. In fact, to this day, we have the apartment, and he's taking care of it for us. So invaluable, which we wouldn't have met without Olim advisors. In the meantime, while we're looking at apartments, they set us up with a transfer company to be able to move dollars Israel to buy it. When we're ready, we can just, press a button and the money's there. And a very good lawyer, Avram Levinsky, excellent lawyer. And really, he's to this day, we're still in touch with everybody on the team, and it's terrific. So we found, so at literally the last day we were in the area looking, they said, we have an apartment for you. It's above your budget. So we said, can't hurt, we're here. We went in, we looked, we fell in love, we bought it on the spot. So we now have a 4-bedroom apartment in Netanya, but it overlooks, it's a couple of blocks from the beach, overlooks, it's a very high floor, and overlooks the water. So we got exactly what we were hoping for. We also decided to rent it out for 2 years, as our plans are such that all our children and grandchildren are in the States. So we're not ready at this time to go to spend, to make Aliyah. And so the plan is, and man plans, God laughs, is after figure out when the lease is up, which is we have 14 months left on the lease, and we'll then hopefully spend 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, or maybe one or two of our kids will move, and we could adjust those plans. But the other thing I can tell you is renting is a snap. I think we closed on the 30th of the month, and there was a tenant in there on the 1st. So and rents are it's not great, but it covered. They pay the maintenance, they pay the maintenance and the taxes. So we have zero expense on the apartment. And once again, Rafi and the real estate broker Darren couldn't have been more helpful with that. Everything was seamless, it was painless, and everything was simple. And our only issue right now, for Rafi, everybody's listening, we got to figure out at what point do we declare, because anybody who buys an apartment should know that within 2 years, you can get 50% of your tax money back. And 50% of your tax money is a considerable amount of money. You pay 8%, so you can get 4% back. And that's, depending on what you're paying for the apartment, but it's not chump change. So that's our only concern right now is how we declare how we should declare, and does it pay to to go after it by declaring and so on. So that's something that we're going to have to continue to talk about. Then the problem is, you speak to 3 people, you get 3 answers.
Mhm.
So that's it. I found the help to be invaluable, and as I said, this is my wife and I, and she happens to be a social worker too. So my wife and I are very thrilled that we made this purchase, and we already have our Israeli relatives. They are lining up. They want to spend time on the beach. So it's good we have the 4 bedrooms, and that's it. And if anybody wants to ask me any questions, privately some other time, where I'm welcome. I would welcome that if I could help you, because I was helped a lot. Okay,
Great, Jimmy. Thank you so much. And it's our pleasure. Our pleasure. And we're looking forward to having a cup of coffee on your mirpeset, on your balcony one day.
That's right.
Okay, now we're going to turn over to Rabbi Paul Bloom, who's really started an amazing initiative called the Israel Inspiration Initiative that I think many of you will find very interesting. So Rabbi Bloom, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Rafi. So I'll give you a quick background. I'm from New Jersey as well, and my Aliyah process started about 40 years ago. And I bought a house about 21 years ago, and it appreciated roughly about between 10 and 15% a year. So it was a great investment for those who are considering investing. Back 20 years ago, I started a group in Highland Park, Edison, where we want to just bring people together to think about Aliyah. Most of my friends were in our 40s, early 50s, didn't know what we were going to do. Do we go to Florida? Do we go to Israel? And we brought in builders, we built insurance companies, lawyers, mortgage brokers. And out of this group, roughly about 70 people actually bought homes in Eretz Yisrael. About more than half, almost 2/3, actually made Aliyah. So I said to myself, why can't we do this now today in creating a group that will be inspiring people to make Aliyah? Aliyah is a very big decision, as you all know, and it's a decision that different people are in different stages. Some people are ready to jump on a plane today. Other people are just talking about it with their family to get a better understanding what is the impact on the family for making Aliyah. And every family is going to be very different. So the key important part is to plan. It doesn't make a difference if you're planning to go to make Aliyah next year or in 5 years or in 10 years. Start the planning process now. Part of that planning process will be real estate. And so I developed this organization called the Israel Inspiration Initiative. We're working with Olim advisors. We're working with Nefesh B'Nefesh, working with Mizrahi, the Young Israel, and the OU to inspire people to take their next step. And everyone's step is going to be different. And what we do is we kind of creating an environment of networking within a community. We've created 4 communities already, one in Highland Park, Edison, one in Fairlawn, one in West Hempstead, and one on the Upper West Side, where people are getting together to discuss their issues, their opportunities, their barriers. And then we go back when people have questions. For example, in Highland Park, Edison, we had 2 half-hour sessions focusing just on healthcare and on financial planning that Rafi helped put together. And people find it very, very useful. But most importantly, it is really the networking that exists within this initiative, where people in the same community who have the same goals are able to talk to each other and share information with each other. One of the things that we just recently did is we created a booklet talking about the 100 reasons why one should make Aliyah. And if you're interested in getting 2 reasons every week, and I'll share a few of them with you in a few moments, you can send an email to Aliyah 100 reasons at gmail.com. I'll put you on a mailing list, and I will every week, right before Shabbos, you'll get 2 reasons why you should consider making Aliyah. Let me give you some of the reasons that we put together. One, it's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to make Aliyah and live in Eretz Yisrael. The Rambam said it's a mitzvah. The Rambam implies that it's a mitzvah, but if you look at the Rambam's listing of mitzvahs of his 613, many of them are associated directly with Eretz Yisrael. This is your country. Every step that you take in Eretz Yisrael, you are walking on history, on your history. Your grandparents, your great-parents would give anything to be in Eretz Yisrael, to spend time and to live in Eretz Yisrael. And many of the processes, if you do the right planning, it is not that difficult. From an education perspective, especially if kids who are in high school, things have changed, as people have mentioned, over the past 10 years. It is not a great burden now to bring your kids to Eretz Yisrael and make Aliyah. In addition, when you're looking at higher education, and some of the greatest universities are here in Eretz Yisrael, from Ben Gurion University to Tel Aviv to Hebrew University to Weizmann to Technion, you're not going to be paying $20, $30, $50, $100,000 a year for tuition. You'll be paying $3,000, $4,000. And that makes a very, very big difference. From a healthcare perspective, you have a wonderful healthcare system. The healthcare system is very different, and you'll have to get used to that different type of healthcare system, but it is one of the best healthcare systems in the world. And you can measure that by the longevity. If you look at the longevity of Israelis, they are in the top 20 countries of the world. The United States is around 50. So if you want to live a longer life, you should think about coming to Eretz Yisrael. But most importantly, this is your country. This is a country that is steeped in Yiddishkeit. You don't have to be religious to really appreciate your history associated with this country. Everywhere you turn, every person you turn to, be it your cab driver, be it the guy who's your plumber, be it your electrician, they are Jewish and have the same goals that you have from a Yiddishkeit perspective. It is really very touching when you go into a taxi cab driver he's not wearing a kippah, and he's quoting to you Tanakh of why you should be coming to Eretz Yisrael. It's a very, very different environment. It is your country. And you should take advantage of it, because when you come here, you will be creating the history of the Jewish people. We are in a very special time today, and you can participate in it. But again, the most important part is plan your Aliyah. Again, it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It could be next year. It could be 5 years. It could be 10 years. But start the planning process. And a key part of that planning process is, what do you want to do when you come to buy a home? because that will be one of the magnets that will draw you to Eretz Israel. As I mentioned, I bought my home 20 years ago, and I still go back and forth between Eretz Israel and the United States. I have kids here in the United States, and I have kids here in Israel. And it's a very easy thing to do, going back and forth. And again, I would highly recommend that you take a close look and discuss it with your family, discuss it with your kids, of what your future should be when it comes to planning Aliyah, and where do you want to be 5 or 10 years from now. And again, if you're interested in getting inspired once a week with two reasons of why you should make Aliyah, drop me a note at aliyah100reasons.gmail.com, and I'll be more than glad to send you them.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Bloom. I appreciate it. We have just a few more minutes, and we're going to get to some questions in just a moment. I just wanted to mention just one of the ways that Olim Advisors helps is not just in giving advice and guidance, but also providing very hands-on experience, like I mentioned, very hands-on support. And so we want to be able to help those people who want to take the next step, as Rabbi Bloom mentioned. So two limited time promotions that we're going to be running. One is 15% discount on the services that we provide, and there's a range of services and different price points, and we'd be happy to go over all of that with you. But just keep in mind, if you contact us now, you can take advantage of this discount. Another thing, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, these real estate deals that can save you literally tens and maybe hundreds of thousands of shekel. There are different opportunities, different projects, different cities. So reach out to us. There's no commitment. We can just to get a sense of what you're looking for, and we can be more than happy. We're more than happy to share details with you. Okay, so with that, we'll turn it over to the questions. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen so we can just answer some of your questions here and see everybody. Okay. So there was a question here about the 2080 deposit that I mentioned, the change in the banking regulations, and to answer your question is it might impact the ability to put down a deposit. It depends on the project and depends on the terms, the payment terms. So the best thing to do is just to reach out to me, and we can figure out what you're looking for and where you're looking to buy, and we can look at different developers because there are still a lot of developers that are offering that kind of opportunity to put down just 20% down and then pay it off the rest. There's a question about incentives to move down south. And I think Nefesh B'Nefesh did offer incentives in the past, and then it stopped. I think there might be incentives. I don't know, Raquel, Mayor, or Laura, if you've heard about whether or not they are, but I think they might have restarted some of the programs to encourage people to move north and south.
You can reach out to us. We can definitely check into it and just make sure to see which parts of Israel are considered part of the South or part of the North. Mayor, Raquel, would one of you want to answer the question what the difference is between us and Olim Advisors? I know that comes up all the time. So someone said that they're new to the group, and we would just love to hear from both of you what you feel the difference is.
Raquel, you want to start? Or?
Sure. So yeah, we definitely get this question all the time. It's a very good question. I would say most of our clients, most people who I work with are coming also through Nefesh B'Nefesh. They're coming from United States. I like to say that we complement Nefesh B'Nefesh very well. We're really a very personalized service. So from the moment that someone signs up, whether they're signing up for a bureaucracy package or and full all-inclusive, and we're going to be in touch for a year plus, we're really with you throughout the entire way. And it's super personalized from the beginning, exactly what it is that you're looking for, registering your kids to the schools that you're looking to get registered into. So there are a lot of resources that exist through Nefesh B'Nefesh, and of course, all of the paperwork and whatnot pre-Aliyah. But I would say everything else basically and all of the post-Aliyah is really completely personalized. Whatever it is that you need, we're there with you, and very often we're your first call, which is very special for us, and I know very, very helpful for for everyone who we're working with.
And I will add, first of all, that I think Nefesh Benefesh does an amazing job and provides a lot of information. Once you arrive to Israel, if you want to have some practical hand that will take you, make the appointment and take you to the appointment and solve the things, this is going to be us. So I think that's the main difference. And I agree with Raquel, we complement. And it's like the next step of obtaining information and taking that information to reality.
Thank you. And I want to also just add that it's not just for families. We have many, many clients that are, as Eileen was, making Aliyah on her own, or people coming, couples, semi-retired, retired. And then each one, as Raquel was mentioning, each one has their own specific questions, requests, research that's done on our behalf.
Great, thank you. There's a question here about people that want to bring their parents, right? We got a question for somebody who's in the process of bringing the 90-year-old mother-in-law who's going Aliyah and wants to live with the daughter. And I can share a few thoughts with you. First of all, there are a lot of services, private services, as well as ones that are provided by the government to assist the elderly. It's amazing to see how the government in Israel takes care of the elderly, and so that's something to be aware of. There's also a company that we work with, which is in essence like a one-stop shop for elderly, for senior citizens, where they can help find accommodations and the private aid, and if you need medical equipment and so on and so forth. So if you're thinking about either coming with parents, or if you're living in Israel and your parents want to come and they need assistance when it comes to these kind of decisions, reach out to us and we'd be happy to introduce you to this company. Let's see here. There's a question about dealing with documentations, and so Raquel or Meir, can you just talk about that process a little bit and what people can do, getting apostilles, getting documents, things like that. How important is that, and how does that process work?
Okay, so from before making Aliyah, of course, Jewish agency Nefesh Benefesh could provide a lot of information on how to do it, etc. before arriving. Once you are here, it's very, very important that when you will arrive, you will have all those documents and at least having a photocopy. And once you are here, in terms of filling documents or filling forms to whether it's Misrad Apnim, which is the Interior Ministry, the DMV, etc., we will be there to help you, that you have the right documents, that you have them if they are already translated, and if you have them correct, to bring everything. We will help you fill, present, and obtain everything that you need. And again, in every case is different, as Eileen was mentioning. A lot of time, if you want to start the process to converting your social worker medical degree, that's another thing that we can help you with, answering some of the questions, having some contacts here to help you with the translations, etc. And I will add that particularly in the driver license conversion, it's very important to understand what you need before arriving. I'm not going to enter that in this moment, but we will help you to have a lot of answers for your questions before arriving, and we will answer some of the questions that you didn't know that you had before you will arrive.
Thank
you,
you.
Meir.
So I see there were some questions here, just specifics. We're running out of time a bit, but specifics about with buying, purchasing, what the timing is, the taxes, and we'll be happy to give you names of great lawyers, real estate lawyers, and mortgage brokers that can really give you a better picture of things, and you can ask specific questions and they can guide you, because it's very, very important to understand all these details. It makes a huge difference. So all of those questions we'll address, and we'll get back to you and send you the information, and then you can speak to the professionals yourselves and get a better understanding, a better picture.
Absolutely. And there's a question here about long-term rentals, and this is something that there are some developers that are offering now long-term rentals where you can actually lock in your rental for up to 10 years. So for people who don't want to buy or can't afford to buy, it gives them that sense of security that you can rent and you know from year to year what your rent's going to be going up and that you know that you have a place to stay. So feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to guide you. And the question here about opening up a local chapter in Atlanta with the Israel Inspiration Initiative. So Rabbi Bloom will be in touch with you. We were looking to expand it across the country. And, if you live in a community where you think this would be of interest, then please reach out to us and we can definitely explore that. Okay, so with that, I know everyone has a lot of planning to do for the week ahead. We want to really wish you a good week, a safe week, Chag Sameach, and we hope that you have a wonderful Pesach. Enjoy the time and take care of yourselves. And we look forward to speaking to you. Be well, everyone. Shavua Tov.
Thank you for joining us and reach out. We'll be happy to have a free consultation, answer all your questions. Chag Kasher v'Sameach, everybody.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Thank you.